Yo, what's up, everybody? This is Aslan, and this is Spell Basketball. This is episode 2 of this podcast, and today we are going over Game 1 of the NBA Finals, and man, was it a great game last night. And so, what we're going to talk about today, I'm going to go over the stats, and then we're also going to talk about what each team needs to do moving forward, what adjustments need to be made, because best believe as dominant as it looked for Denver last night, I wasn't quite convinced. And again, this is kind of coming from a Nuggets fan, or not kind of, this is coming from a Nuggets fan. But there were a lot of things that I saw that kind of gave me a little worry, just a little bit, not too much, but just a little bit. But with that being said, if y'all have not subscribed to this channel yet, go ahead and subscribe. And I'm glad y'all are here. God is faithful. So let's go ahead and get this started. Okay, so I'm going to start with the Miami Heat stats from last night, okay? Again, it was an amazing game. Shout out to both teams, the Nuggets and the Heat, for starting the finals off right. But I'm going to start off with the Heat stats, okay? So in the last episode, I talked about how Bam Adebayo had to step up. Now, Bam played very well last night. I mean, his stats were 26 points. He had 13 rebounds and 5 assists. So Bam definitely stepped up. And it did kind of seem like Denver was allowing him to do whatever he wanted to do last night, because they looked like they were trying to focus on Butler the most, which I think they did a decent job on Butler. And he had 13 points, 7 rebounds, and 7 assists. And so with that being said, here's where it got interesting, right? So Max Strus, Caleb Martin, and Duncan Robinson, all three players combined for a total of 6 points. And Max Strus hit 0 shots yesterday. So I would like to say Denver, I don't like saying got lucky, but Denver should be very glad that Miami missed a lot of the shots they did. Because Martin in the last series was averaging 19 points a game. And he was just looking like that guy. In my opinion, I thought he should have won the Eastern Conference Finals MVP. But he didn't score. He hit 1-3 last night, and Robinson hit 1-3, and then Strus just couldn't hit anything last night. So I thought that was very interesting. And again, that Denver should be very glad that nothing happened with that. However, there was a surprise last night with Highsmith. Highsmith came in off the bench and had 18 points last night. So he was a very bright spot in the Heat's lineup last night. Lowry also chipped in with 11 points. But the Heat last night shot 40% from the field. They had 8 turnovers, and then they were 100% from the free throw line because they only shot 2 free throws last night. So usually the free throw percentage, when it's that, lopsided, you want to look at that a little bit, but Denver did a very good job of playing good defense and not really fouling last night, and that was it. So they had 2 free throws last night. Now on to Denver's side. Of course, Jokic, he did his thing last night. The Joker did his thing, dropping another triple-double, and he had 27 points, 10 rebounds, and 14 assists. Jamal Murray chipped in with 26 points, 6 rebounds, and 10 assists. So 2 players that had double-doubles, at least double-doubles last night. Michael Porter Jr. chipped in with 14 points. Aaron Gordon, the X Factor like I said he was going to be, chipped in with 16 points, 14 of those being in the first half. KCP, who we could probably get a little bit more production from, he had some good shots. Not a few of them did not go in, but it's okay. I believe he'll heat up and have the opportunity to heat up sometime. And then Bruce Brown, the consistent 6th man, come off the bench and chipped in with 10. Now, Denver was shooting 50.6% from the field yesterday, which is good for any team. If you're shooting over 50%, that's a great stat to have. Denver had 10 turnovers, and then Denver also was shot 80% from the free throw line, making 16 out of 20 free throws. But the one thing that I would like to say here as I was looking at the stats, that Denver had more turnovers than Miami did. Also, Miami, surprisingly, y'all were looking at all the shots that Max Strus missed and Duncan Robinson and all the threes, but Miami actually shot better than Denver from three-point, shooting at a clip of 33% last night from the three-point range, and Denver shooting 29%. So that was a stat that actually surprised me because it seemed like Denver was hitting their threes. Maybe it's just because I was excited when the shots were going in, but it seemed like that Denver was actually shooting better. However, that stat clearly states that Miami actually shot better from the three last night. So that shows a place where Denver can improve and knock down some more shots. Michael Porter's still kind of struggling from the three-point. He's hitting a couple and there's some big shots, but he's still struggling for what we know him to be. Aaron Gordon also can knock down that corner three every once in a while, but he was just so dominant in the paint last night that he really didn't have to shoot. And that's what I was talking about on the previous show, where Denver just has so many different mismatches that Miami can't really handle. And so that was very evident early on. I think Aaron Gordon had 8 straight points, just dunks and layups, just because they got the switches they wanted, and he got Vincent down on the post a few times and easily just finished right over him. And so with that starting lineup with Miami, with Strus and Martin and Bam, Jimmy, and Vincent, they're very undersized, and so Denver exposed that. But I thought Spoelstra came back and did a very good job of putting Miami in a zone, which kind of slowed Denver. Well, not kind of. It did slow Denver up a lot from getting those easy buckets down low, switching on the mismatches and everything like that. So that's what I kind of want to talk about now, is moving forward, thinking about what Denver can do with these Miami adjustments. So we saw Denver kind of slow down and struggle against that zone a little bit. What I think should happen is putting somebody who can knock down that mid-range or get in the paint easily to score. But we have to, for the Nuggets, they have to run that offense through the high post. They have to try to get that ball to the high post as much as possible. Miami did a very good job. It kind of looked like a 3-2 matchup zone a little bit. But they did a very good job of trying to shield off that high post so that they could make sure that the backdoor cutters wouldn't get open. But I believe there are 4 players for Denver that should be at that high post. I believe if you put Jamal Murray there, Jamal Murray's mid-range is clutch. It's almost automatic and has been in these playoffs. And so if you put Jamal Murray there, it gives him an opportunity to look for his shot there. I also think if you were able to put Michael Porter there, same thing. Bruce Brown has a great teardrop game once he gets into that paint area. And then Jokic. Jokic is the automatic person that you want there, just simply because he could find the open players. He could hit the mid-range. He's just an all-around player in that area. And he also finds the cutting. So if we can get Gordon in the corner or something where he can cut and hit that three, Porter, again, he had some open shots last night where he was in the corner and had some open looks, but just didn't knock them down. KCP in the corner. But at a couple points in the game, I looked up and everybody was on the three-point line when Miami was in that zone. So I think that's just kind of what Denver needs to do against that zone, is to adjust. Is just simply get the ball into the high post as much as possible. I also believe that they need to get Jokic posted up more to start off the game, because if you look at it in the game, Bam was kind of pushing Jokic out, wasn't allowing him to post up. And so, Jokic didn't really, he had an impact on the game passing and rebounding early on, more passing than rebounding, but he wasn't able to post up. So, Bam did a good job of keeping him out of the paint early on. But I believe if you get into the paint early on and get posted up for Jokic, that you could get Bam in foul trouble. And so, again, Bam had an amazing game last night. Shout out to Bam Adebayo. But, excuse me, one thing I noticed also for Miami is that defensively, they are going to have to zone up Denver. Like, they have to. They can't match up with them man-to-man. They don't want to double, because then Denver will get their open shots as they tried to do with Joker early. And Bruce Brown knocked down a three. Murray was knocking down threes. Porter knocked down a couple threes. So Gordon had to open three. He airballed it. But, still he's open and is capable of knocking down that shot. So I think Miami has to zone Denver. Now, the other thing I think Miami needs to do is insert Kevin Love. The reason I say that is because Kevin Love gives you another option, not only another shooting option, but gives you a bigger body to kind of maybe match up with Joker. Now, will he stop Joker? No, he will not stop Joker. However, that puts a bigger body on Aaron Gordon so that when they do switch, they don't have Gabe Vincent on Aaron Gordon in the post every time. So I do believe that Miami does need to insert Kevin Love. Again, Highsmith was a very surprising addition to Miami last night with 18 points, but a very good energy player and came in and did what he needed to do. Kyle Lowry also, attributed to 11 points. Hit some pretty decent shots. Which actually he was one of the reasons they were able to get as close as they were, which was 9 points at one point. And so the biggest thing I can say with Miami is they have to knock down their shots. Again, they had so many wide open shots yesterday that they didn't just knock down, and that's big. And so again, Denver, count your blessings for that. And then also Miami, they're just going to have to do that. Of course, I was excited as well that they didn't, just simply because they were wide open. So I don't expect that to continue. But looking at yesterday's game, I feel like for me, I have to watch game 2 just to really get a good idea of what can happen from moving forward. I still think Denver's defensive scheme was very wise and very good, but they're gonna have to adjust majorly if Miami starts to knock down their shots. And so Denver, again, as dominant as they looked last night, they definitely didn't have that much of a game to where you can say, oh yeah, this is over, or there were just some things that kind of I noticed last night. And so again, I still have the Nuggets in 5. But Denver definitely is going to have to make some adjustments. And so with that being said, I say that a lot. I'm going to have to stop saying that so much. But moving forward, I also think just as much as the players are going to have to adjust, this is a game of chess with the coaches. Spoelstra has shown that he's one of the best coaches to ever coach with his adjustments, his knowledge of the game, the schemes that he comes up with, that he's going to adjust and he's going to put his team in the best position to win. And so with Denver, I think this is a chance for Michael Malone to really establish his dominance as a coach, as a good coach, as a brilliant coach, as a coach who can make the adjustments that need to be made. And so just as much as the players, the coaches have a great deal as well as far as to which team will prevail and become more dominant and move forward in these finals. And so also I'm excited for game 2. Game 1 was good. Of course, I have the Nuggets winning game 2 as well, considering the Nuggets are 9-0 at home now, I believe. 9-0 or 10-0 at home, but they have not lost at home. I'll just say they're undefeated. But it's going to be good. And so key points to take away from game 1. Miami has got to knock down their shots. They'll have to continue to zone Denver. I believe also inserting Kevin Love will definitely give Miami a good push, or a more positive push as far as defensively. There's a chance Tyler Hero might be back for game 2. We're not sure, but I am believing that he will be back for this series. And so that's another addition that Denver's just going to have to run with. Hopefully, they adjust when he does come back. But getting this game 2, I think in this series, game 2 is going to be the most important game for both teams. Not because one can go up 2 or one can tie it, but just simply it's going to show what each team is really made of and who made the correct adjustments as far as to stay on top. So, but that's my analysis for game 1. Again, it was a great game. I'm super excited to see what game 2 brings. But to finish that off, NBA news, a couple things I heard today. The Phoenix Suns have hired Frank Vogel as their coach, and so that should be a good pickup. I think one of the last times Frank Vogel coached was with the Lakers after he won a championship with the Lakers in 2020 in the bubble. So that should be an interesting fit for the Phoenix Suns. We'll see how Kevin Durant and Devin Booker will adjust to that and see what moves that the Phoenix Suns make in the offseason. And then also Adam Silver today did state that they will make the decision as far as Ja Morant, considering the punishment that he'll receive after the finals. I commend Adam Silver on that, just simply because you just don't want to take away any attention from the finals. It's a good series right now, and good to watch, and so I commend Adam Silver for that decision, and we just pray Ja Morant's okay. Pray that he learns from his mistakes. We know he's young, but what did Albert Einstein say one time? Making the same mistake over, or doing the same thing over and over and over, is kind of like the definition of insanity, or is the definition of insanity. So just pray that he gets better. Pray that he understands what he has, and that he takes advantage of it, but also just doesn't put himself in any situations he doesn't need to be in. So that is the news update for today. I'm so glad to be on here again. If y'all have not followed this page or subscribed to this page, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. We will be back on here for the game recap Monday after game 2. So with that being said, I'm excited to see y'all. There goes that with that being said again. My grandma gonna hit me up. But y'all have a blessed day. Let's go do it. And this is Aslan Williams with Spell Basketball, with the stats, the facts, and all that. Y'all have a good one.